This educational video is intended to help children build their vocabulary for the purpose of their general knowledge, as well as to improve their scores on state and other standardized exams. Please pause the video to read the purpose, scope, and warnings related to this video. This video has a free student engagement worksheet that can also be used as a quiz. It's available in many formats. Please see the link in the description to download this. In this video, we'll learn the definition of these words. We'll do that by focusing on the meaning of the word parts, which make up each word. The word root centr means center. The word central is made of the word root center and a word forming suffix -al. This word describes something that's towards the center. Here are the 4 time zones in the continental U.S. The one in the middle is the central time zone because it's in the center of the country. When we talk about central air conditioning, we're referring to a system of ducts that bring air from a machine that's near the center of the building. This is in contrast to a ductless air conditioning system that's not bringing cool air from the center of the building. We commonly use the word central when referring to the most important idea or function. For example, the sun plays a central role in the water cycle because heat from the sun raises water from the oceans in the process of evaporation. That evaporated water then condenses to form clouds. The word concentric is made of 2 word parts. The first is con, which means with. We often use the word concentric to make the phrase concentric circles. Here are 2 circles with their centers indicated by small dots. If we overlap these circles, such that their centers are in the same place, then we call these concentric circles. They are a set of circles with the same center. The word eccentric is made of 2 word parts. The first is ect, which means out. Normally, when we rotate something, we put the axis in the center. If the object is circular, like this disc, then the outline of the object will stay in the same place as the object rotates. If we put a hole near one edge, then we say that hole is eccentric. When we put an axis through an eccentric hole, then the outline of the object will move as it rotates. This rod doesn't go through the center parts of these discs. We can see that because one edge on this side is farther from the rod than the edge on the other side. These are called eccentric cams. They're common in engineering when we want to convert a rotating motion, such as from the camshaft into an up and down motion. Eccentric cams are very common in cars. The most common use of the word eccentric is to refer to someone's behavior which is odd or off-center. These people like to pretend they're astronauts on Mars. Even though they're just having fun, it's still quite unusual for people to spend their money buying astronaut suits and to spend their time walking around a hot desert. This is eccentric behavior. The word concentrate is made of 2 word parts. The first is con, which means with. We often use this word to mean focusing on one central goal. When we're reading, we're very focused, so we're deep in concentration. We can also use this word to describe liquids. Both of these test tubes have 1 drop of food coloring. When we add water to one of them, then it makes that liquid more dilute. Another way of saying something is more dilute is to say that it's less concentrated. For example, in the top of this test tube, the liquid is less concentrated than at the bottom of this test tube. The word egocentric is made of 2 word parts. The first is ego, which means the self. Someone who's egocentric is very selfish. She or he has little or no concern for others. Famous examples are kings and queens who taxed poor citizens and spent that money to buy expensive jewelry for their own pleasure. The word centrifugal is made of 2 word parts. The second part is fuved, which means to flee. To flee means the same as to go away from something. Together, these word parts refer to a force that's going away from the center. During the last cycle of the washing machine, the basket spins very fast, so that the water is pushed from the clothes and through the holes in the basket. This helps remove water from the clothes. The outward force that's pushing the water away from the clothes is a centrifugal force. We can think of a centrifugal force as an imaginary force that pushes an orbiting object away from the center of its orbit. The word centripetal is made of 2 word parts. The second is pet, which means to rush. Together, these refer to a force that is rushing towards the center. When this rod is moving at high speed, the chairs move away from the center pole. We can imagine them being pushed outwards by a centrifugal force, but that outward force is balanced by an inward force from the chains. The inward force stops the chairs from flying away. That inward force is an example of a centripetal force. Gravity is the most famous centripetal force. For example, the Earth's gravity is a centripetal force that keeps the Moon orbiting around the Earth so that the Moon doesn't fly away from the Earth. Thanks for your attention.